Hello and welcome to Taffy Crafting. My name's Donna. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. I've got a project for you, something that I actually found myself on YouTube, and to give credit to the person who designed it. It came from Sun Stampers, an American demonstrator, and I thought I'd put a celebration spin on it. So this is what I started with. There's some amendments I'm going to make to it in order to give it more of a celebration spin. I'm going to be using cardstock, Bermuda Bay. I'm going to be using some of the Picture Perfect DSP, and I'm going to be using this punch for a label, and using for the first time the pandas are out. The pandas is a stamp set called Party Pandas that's available when you spend £45 or more in either the annual or the spring summer catalogue, or a combination of both. And the project I'm going to do today is going to be using the envelope punch board. And the envelope punch board and the gift bag punch board was what got me into paper crafting. I didn't know how to make a card, I didn't know how to make anything. I just knew that I wanted to start paper crafting. I used to be a sewer before that. I used to love doing anything with fabric, but it didn't give me a result quick enough, and that's how I discovered paper crafting. So I'm going to show you how I started using the envelope punch board. It's not just for envelopes. I'll do a few projects over the next few weeks using this, where you can make boxes, mini gift bags, anything like that. Something that's 3D, not necessarily an envelope, even though this is called the envelope punch board. So I'm going to do something like this, and I'm going to still use this punch here, but I'm going to use a different stamp set just to show you how that opens. It just opens like that. So you could wrap maybe a piece of jewellery in some tissue paper and put that in there. Maybe some small makeup items could go in there. You could put a blusher in there, a couple of eyeshadows. So for a small gift, you know, that's quite pretty. I'm also going to decorate this with ribbon as well. That's also part of our celebration range. So without further ado, what I've started off with is I've got a piece of card that is 5.5 by 5.5 inches. I've got two pieces of DSP that measure 2.25 inches by 2.75 inches. I think the paper that I started off with was only 2 inches, and it wasn't big enough, it didn't look right. So 2.25 inches by 2.75 inches. That then goes quite nicely with that Bermuda Bay cardstock. I've got a length of ribbon, also in Bermuda Bay, and I've got my stamp already loaded up onto my stamp block. So starting with this and with the cardstock, and I'll show you how easy it is to make a project like this. So the first thing we do is that we put the cardstock into the punch board and push it right up to the edge. Make sure that your cardstock has been trimmed accurately. I use the paper trimmer to trim all of my paper. I'll show you what it looks like. There's my paper trimmer. I would be lost without it. It really cuts and scores so accurately. So I use that. Put that away. Oops, bit of a crash. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, you can see some measurements here. These are in inches, and then these here are in centimetres. So the first thing I'm going to do is line up the edge of my paper with the 2-inch mark, and I'm going to punch, and then I'm going to score. Now to score, I'm going to put my scoring tool in there. I'm going to find the groove, and I'm going to score all the way down like that. I'm then going to move my card over to 3 inches, just line that up, punch, and I'm going to do exactly the same there like that. And then I'm going to turn my paper 90 degrees, and I'm going to line up this scoring gauge there with that first score line that I made, and I'm going to punch, and that's not a score line at all, oh no, and I'm going to score. Always on camera, something goes wrong, and I'm going to move that over so that that meets that score line. I'm going to punch, and I'm going to be very careful this time. I'm going to score. I wasn't looking what I was doing there. Take it out, rotate it, line up those score lines again. Punch, and score. Move it over so this gauge matches the next score line. Punch, and score. And one last time, line it up. Line it up. I'm looking at two different things. Punch, and score. And then one last time, line that up there. And we're going to punch, and we're going to score. Now I'm not going to use this now, but something that I want to show you that the envelope punch board does is that you've got here, there is reverse punch here. Let me show you what this does. You can just put your edges in there, or your corners rather in there, and you can round them by doing that. And round them and do that. So I'm just going to do all of those. It's not necessary for this particular project, but I just want to show you how it does that. It also means that when I come to any other projects in which I have to round corners, I just get my punch board out, and it's always handy. It's actually usually never away. Take it out and I can use that bit there to round any corners if I need to. So that's what you're left with, those little bits there like that, which get hoovered up later. And I'm left with that. That's what I'm left with, and I'll show you how we then turn that into an envelope, or into an envelope with a gusset. And I'm going to fold and burnish all of these score lines like that. Fold, burnish, and fold, and burnish there. Just do the other two sides. And there we are, we have that. Just want to snip a couple of things here. So just looking at that, and what I want to do on what side here, so where we've got the large triangles there, these are smaller triangles, these are the large triangles, just where they're there, you're just going to snip up to that first score line there like that and wedge into it. And the reason we do that, it makes it, because what's going to happen, we're going to join it like that, and it just makes it adhere a bit better, and you don't have any bits of card sticking out of the where we're going to join it. It does make it look better. Okay, so I'm just going to cut up there to that first score line and then wedge in, and then I'm just going to do that on the other side. I'm glad to see that my nail varnish actually slightly coordinates better with this particular project than the last one I made. It was a terrible clash. I was using pink cardstock with blue nail varnish. It looked awful. Right, so just wedge in there. I'm just going to trim that up a little bit more because that score line where I did that messy score line, just trim that off a little bit more. So that's what I'm left with, and I now need to join this together. So I'm going to get, just for speed, I'm going to use some double-sided tape. However, I would recommend wet glue. That definitely would be better, and I would recommend that. But on camera, because it just does take a couple of minutes for it to set, I'd rather not. I'd end up being covered in it. But if I was making these as a gift for people, I would use that. You get a much better finish. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to turn that up that way, because what we want is the right side of this card, what we're going to see at the front of it. And I'm just going to get some double-sided tape, of which I can't find the end, and I'm just going to stick that there. And I'm just going to do that on one side. I'm not going to do it on this side, I'm just going to do it there, and I'll show you why in a second. Let me just get that on there. Now the reason we're only putting it on one side is because if I get the original project, this side is going to remain open and those flaps are there still intact. So that's why I'm going to do that. So just take off the release paper there. And I'm just going to, you just see I've got that tab there, I'm just going to tuck it in, move that round like that, join the free edge with the folded edge and fold that down there like that. And that's why I don't use wet glue in videos, because that is just joined straight away. Do the other one, so you just fold that in, push it round like that so that the raw edge meets the, or the cut edge meets that folded edge there. Oops, let it stick together. So now this starts to take shape. These will come in and this will go over like that. What we need to make sure of though is that that stays square, and that what we don't have is that that's opening like that when we stick it down. It's got to be square. So before I do anything else, I just want to put some adhesive just here and here. So I'm just going to cut a piece off for each one. I'm just going to put that there like that. And I'll put the other one. Now this is definitely where wet glue would be better, because you get a little bit of what we call in the crafty world wiggle room, because it means that when you put the wet glue on, as it's just starting to set, you can just wiggle this about until it's in the right place, and then you wait. You can't do that with these instant adhesives. You've got to be quick, and you've got to kind of make a decision. So I'm just going to take that backing paper off. Which doesn't want to come off because my nails are too long, that's why. There we go. Thought I was going to have to pause the video and go off and fight with that. Okay, so I've got this here. Now I need this to come in, I need it to be square. I'm going to use my stamp block to do this, but anything that is square. So I'm going to take that block in there and just butt that up against the edge. And then I'm going to bring that in. Now it's difficult for me to see actually because the light is shining on the block. I'm going to take that out. So I'm going to fold these in here. And I just need that line there, that raw edge to match up with that folded edge, and that folded edge to match up with that raw edge, and stick it down. I think we're done all right there. And just get your hand in there and just make sure that those edges have stuck to that triangle there. So now we've got that. It's taking shape, and that would just sweat in there like that, and that fits nice and tightly. That's not going anywhere, which is what we want. We want it not to be popping up. So got to that point, and then the next thing I'm going to do, I just want to take a little bit off of this, because I'm going to put my what am I going to put? This bit is going to go here. If I had all of that hanging over there, it would show. So I'm going to take about 3/4 of an inch off there. So carefully and as straight as possible. You could measure this and put a line through it if you wanted to, and then cut across the line. I'm going to be brave and eyeball it. I don't think that's too bad. So now I've got that, and that's pretty much what I wanted. So what I need to do now is to get my DSP there, and I'm going to trim that a bit. There's me saying that needed to be 2 1/4, and actually that's a little bit too big. I'm going to trim that ever so slightly. Paper trimmer. So I said at the beginning it needs to be 2 1/4. Do it at 2. And I'll get the other one. And oh, I want that green in there. And I'll do that at 2. It probably needs to be something like 2 1/8, but my eyesight's not good enough for for such precise measurements at that. Right, I'm just grabbing a chair because, oh, my back is hurting standing up. Right, so I'm going to put that one here, and I'm going to put that one, sorry, that was off camera. I'm going to put that one there like that, and I'm going to put that one on there like that. So let's do that one first, and I'll get some adhesive on this. Again, you could use wet glue to give you that wiggle room. Okay, so just put those on there. And I'm going to peel this paper off, which just does not want to play ball with me today. So typical when you're on a video. And it's because I'm rushing as well. And I'm only rushing because I think you just don't want to see me sat here sticking bits of paper to other bits of paper. But I couldn't have this prepared beforehand. There we go. Straighten that out a bit. So I get my box. Now again, because it's what I call instant glue. It's not instant glue at all, it's just double-sided tape, but it does mean you've got to get that on there straight. No pressure on video. There we go. That wasn't too bad. So we've got a panel on there, and we're going to put a panel on here. Now I'm going to be careful with this one not to put lots of glue on this side because it will just get stuck to it, and we don't want that to happen. So my orange side is what's going to go there. So let's get some adhesive on there. These are great not only as gift boxes, but also maybe wedding favour boxes. So many people now are making their own wedding stationery, their wedding favour things. You know, people are getting crafty and they're doing their own and trying to save a bit of money because it is expensive. And Stampin' Up enables you to do that because there are so many different themes for all the stamps and things that there are in the paper. There's bound to be something you like. So thinking outside the box, thinking outside the gift box, you know, could be looking at wedding favours as well. So bear that in mind. Maybe if you're looking to order and maybe want to order with somebody else, if there's a group of you that craft, come and have a look at the website. The link is down in the description bar below to my Stampin' Up shop. Have a look in there. If you spend up to £45, you get a free celebration gift. If you spend under £150 and quote my hostess code, which you'll find on my blog, and the link for that is in the description bar below, you will find the hostess code on there. And so all of my customers earn rewards during each month by ordering with me, and then all of my orders as well, that's the same, just generates rewards. So at the end of the month, when all of my customers have put their orders in, and you receive them just in the normal way as if you were ordering from a shop, I need to put that upside down, as if you were ordering from a shop, it gets sent to you. You can order safely and securely, and they get sent to you direct. I then look at the end of the month, see what people have spent with me. I also then put my own order in on top of that to generate stamping rewards. And then what I do is I spend those, not on myself, but on my customers. And I then, once those rewards come through the post to me, I then send them out to my customers as a thank you for shopping with me. So bear that in mind as well when you're ordering. Now, if your order is more than £150, then you are entitled to your own stamping rewards, and you'll have something prompt on the website when you order as to what you want to spend your stamping rewards on. Okay, so if you've got any questions about that, please feel free to contact me on the blog. There is a link on there where you can contact me. You can also come and find me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/taffycrafting, and you can contact me direct on there. My email is taffycrafting@gmail.com, and you can contact me there. Anyway, so I've stuck those two bits on there like that, and that then fits nicely in there like that. That is nice and tight. So what I want to do now is just want to put a little bit of a curve in there, and I've got this is a 1-inch punch, 1-inch circle punch, and just to give that a bit of shape. You can see where I stamped my hand earlier, that ink gets everywhere. I'm just going to put, whoa, that there like that. That sprung right up in my face. And we'll put that there like that. Now, I want to put something like, I keep realising I'm going out of camera, sorry. I'm going to put something like that on there, but this box sits like that, like that. This box is going to be like that because I've been desperate to use these pandas, and I've lost my card. There it is. I'm going to stamp my panda image on here. I'm going to punch out that image, and then I'm going to attach it to my envelope box, and then I'm going to put some ribbon around it just to finish it off. So, closing stages then of this project. I'm going to take my panda stamp. I'll show you how nicely this stamps. I've got the Bermuda Bay ink. Take the stamp block, or take the stamp rather. And I'm just going to, oh, I managed to put my finger in that. Just going to put that then on the card. How cute is that? These pandas are so popular. When these, because I'm a demonstrator, I was able to go to On Stage, an event that's run by Stampin Up, and we got to see these pandas. The whole room went balmy, absolutely balmy. I don't think there's a Stampin Up demonstrator in the world who does not have this stamp set. So what I want to do, I'm just going to line that up there like that. So I've got my punch, turn it round. I'm just going to line that up and punch it out like that. Isn't he cute? And I'm going to put him on there like that. But before I do that, I'm going to turn him round, and I've got these mini dimensionals, and I'm going to put 2 on that side. Oops. These nails are going. They're too big. They just get in the way. And I'm going to put one there. They might look pretty, but they're not particularly practical. And then I'm just going to take the backing paper off of those. This project wouldn't have taken so long if I hadn't have spent so much time taking backing paper off. I might as well have used the wet glue. Okay, getting there. We are getting there. So, where's my ribbon? It's disappeared. There it is. There's my ribbon. I'm just going to put that there like that. And I'm going to get my stamped image, and I'm going to put that there like that. And then, as you can see, the ribbon, because I put the dimensionals at the end, the ribbon just flows through that. Whoops, nearly lost it. And I'm going to try and tie a bow. I'm rubbish at tying bows. I'm not going to pretend that I can tie bows. So we have that. I'm just going to I'll let you be the judge of that. It's not that great, is it? But I can't tie bows. It would have just looked nicer maybe if I'd I put a knot on it? Let's make that bow a bit smaller. I'm not going to faff too long because I'm just going to make it worse. I'm just going to, with ribbon, always cut the ribbon at an angle like that and it won't fray. So there we have, using the Picture Perfect ESP, the Coordinating Bermuda Bay cardstock, Bermuda Bay ribbon, and our beautiful pandas with our punch. We've got a cute little box that can hold small bits of makeup, jewellery, anything you like, and I think that's a cute little way to send a gift. Thank you so much for joining me and bearing with me by getting stuck to double-sided tape, and I'll have another project for you again soon. Don't forget to subscribe and then you'll be notified of any projects that are coming up. Thanks again, see you soon, bye bye.